Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. This morning's webinar will provide an overview for the data reports that are part of the application for Family Planning Elevated Contraceptive Access Program, or FPE CAP. My name is Alex Jarrow. I'm the research analyst for FPE, and today I have a pretty simple agenda. To start, I'll be talking about about the 3 months of service delivery data that's required with your FPE CAP application, including the different components that we're asking for in these data polls. Next, I'll answer any questions you may have about the data collection process. And just a reminder that the deadline for FPE CAP cohorts 2 and 3 are due on July 1st. This webinar is being recorded, and slides will be available as well as the recording on our website. We'll also post the questions and their answers on the FPE Frequently Asked Questions page. You might be wondering, why do we need to show you all this data in the first place? And that's a good question. The data we collect from FPE CAP health centers will be used for two things. For one, we will analyze it and return that data back to the clinics for grant proposals and for clinic decision making. Looking at trends over time and across multiple clinics will also allow us to evaluate the impact of FPE CAP and to make evidence-based policy recommendations at the local and state level. We ask for 3 months of clinic data as part of the FPE CAP application to give us a better sense of how contraceptive services play into your clinic flow as a whole, and looking at just 1 month of data wouldn't let us do this easily. Since applications for cohorts 2 and 3 are due on July 1st, we are asking the data reports for March, April, and May be submitted so that we get 3 complete months of data. Data reports should be saved in a format compatible with Microsoft Excel, so either a CSV or XLSX format. When you upload the report to REDCap as part of your application, each month of data should be saved as a separate sheet within the document. Data reports need to have all of the required components for your application to be considered complete. So what are these required components? This might look familiar. This is the template that your clinic will submit with your application, and if selected for cohorts 2 and 3, that your clinic will submit on a monthly basis detailing service delivery data. In order to stay compliant with our IRB, we ask for encounter data rather than patient data. The variable claim ID, which I've just circled on the upper left side, is a variable available in many EHR systems and is used to bill an insurance provider for an individual visit or encounter. It is also HIPAA compliant, as it does not constitute personal health information. FPE mimics Medicaid's age eligibility requirements and defines reproductive age as 18 to 50 years old. For each encounter among women in this age range, we're collecting all ICD-10 diagnostic codes and all CPT codes, including evaluation and management codes and HCPCS codes. We're also collecting a limited number of demographic variables, including age, race, ethnicity, household size or number of dependents, insurance provider, and annual household income. We also collect the type of clinical staff that provided each visit, so whether a patient was seen by an MD, nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, etc. You may be wondering why we want data on all women 18 to 50 instead of just those seen for contraceptive services. The answer is twofold. Collecting data on visits from all women in this age range is easier than asking you to sort out every diagnostic or procedural code related to a contraceptive visit in a given month. It's a quick task for me to identify those visits that have the codes we're interested in tracking. The other benefit is that we can use other types of services, say related to diabetes or mental health screenings, as controls to look at changes in the rate of contraceptive service provision over time. Finally, we're also collecting total clinic volume for that month. That is to say, the total number of visits among both men and women of all ages, that's including children, seen in your clinic that month. Here is one example of what a monthly service delivery data poll might look like. Notice that the first 5 rows all have the same claim ID. This is one single visit or encounter. This rightmost column shows all the CPT codes associated with the encounter, which are used for billing purposes. Notice that these are all different for each of the 5 rows associated with the visit. If you now look at this column, we see the different ICD codes associated with this visit. Many of these are the same, but as you can see in the bottom 2 rows for this visit, some are different. The bottommost row for this encounter also shows there can be more than one ICD-10 code listed for each CPT code. Here are 2 other examples of how a single visit might look in your data pool. Finally, notice that the total clinic volume for April 2019 is listed here in this yellow cell at the top of the spreadsheet. Here's another example of what monthly service delivery data might look like. In this case, the participating clinic simply sends me the report exactly as they pull it from their EHR instead of copying and pasting it into our template. This is totally fine, as the report still has all of the required components. Here are a few examples of how individual encounters appear in this data pool. Notice that, like the previous poll on the previous slide, a single claim ID might be listed in more than one row. As we see in the encounter bracketed in green at the bottom, the only variable that changes in these 5 rows is the rightmost column. These are the CPT codes associated with the visit. Maybe you've noticed that the total clinic volume is not listed anywhere on this spreadsheet. In this case, the participating clinic sends me total clinic volume separately because that's what's easiest for the person running the data report. This is an important point. While FPE does need specific data elements from all of our clinics, we don't want these monthly data pulls to be unduly burdensome. I'm more than happy to work with you all individually to find a solution that works for both of us. Let's look at an example of what we do not want to receive from clinics. And don't worry, this isn't a data report that anyone has sent me. I created this as an example for this webinar. We do not want to see any identifiable or protected health information. Please make sure that your monthly reports do not include elements that are HIPAA protected, including medical record numbers, patient names, any dates, including date of birth or date of service, or any aspect of patient address, including street names, towns or city names, and zip codes. Just to reiterate, please make sure that your data reports do not include these elements. Patient account numbers, such as medical record numbers, and again, claim ID is fine. Patient names of any sort, any date, including date of service or date of birth, any component of a patient's address, and this includes street names, towns, cities, or zip codes. And again, phone numbers and social security numbers are protected under HIPAA, so we don't want those either. And while you most likely have to choose which elements you actually want to include in your data reports, it is possible that you may have to choose to exclude some of these data elements when running your monthly reports. So please do take a look at the finished product before you send anything my way. Now I'm going to answer some questions that we hear frequently. First and foremost, exactly how much data do we need? For FPE CAP application itself, 3 months of service delivery data is required for your application. This image shows the timeline for FPE CAP. Cohort 1 was selected earlier this year and submitted historical data beginning in January 2018. Clinics accepted to cohorts 2 and 3 will also be asked to submit historical data beginning in January 2018 when they're notified of their acceptance. In addition to this historical data, clinics will submit monthly service delivery data reports for all 24 months of program implementation, as well as 12 months of data following the end of the project. A few more frequently asked questions. Do we want data broken out by month or submitted all together? For the application, please separate data out by month and submit each month as a different sheet within a single Excel document. How long will this data pull take? The first report may take as long as an hour to put together. But once this report has been created and saved, it will only take a few minutes to run the report in the future. You'll just have to change the dates and you're ready to go. I'm having a hard time with the data pull. Please help. We are here for you. Call or email me with your specific questions and I can help walk you through it. This is my email address and it will also be listed at the end of this webinar. I will now open up the floor to any questions you may have, and you can submit them using the chat feature. One question, should we submit data using REDCap or email? For the FPE CAP application, data will be submitted using REDCap. And again, all 3 months of data will be in a single Excel document with data separated by month. In the future, if you're accepted for cohorts 2 or 3, we do have a REDCap page for monthly data collection. If for whatever reason you have trouble using that form, as it only accepts one spreadsheet per submission, we can figure out a way to send it to me directly. We do have some other clinics who are sending me monthly monthly service delivery data directly because their EHRs don't allow them to print off to export a report that contains all of the information we need in a single report. So they end up emailing me 2 reports or 2 documents for their 1 report. Another question is, how will FPE send clinics their data back to them? And we will send out biannual reports using either an Excel or a Microsoft Word template. So every 6 months, we will send your clinic data back to you. If you have data needs in between, let's say, for example, you are applying for a grant and need a data pull, we're happy to help you with that. We just ask for sufficient notice. And if those are all the questions, I will just leave you with my contact information. Again, my name is Alexandra Jarrow, although feel free to call me Alex. This is my email address, and you can reach me at this phone number where I share an office with Kyle and Caitlin. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning, and we are looking forward to reviewing your applications. I hope you all have a great day.